Pictures of you, pictures of me, hung upon your wall for the world to see. Pictures of you, pictures of me, remind us all of what we could have been. Pictures of you, pictures of me, hung upon your...
Relive every moment true to life with True Capture technology, only from Canon.
Well, Minister Sherry, some of the presentations at the sort of launch, I suppose, have just finished now, and you made a presentation which highlighted the significance of this event to the federal government and to the Australian tourism industry and also small business. Tell me a bit about... Start again. Minister Sherry, your responsibility includes tourism but also small business, and at this launch event of the Australia-China Tourism Summit you just talked a little bit about how important this event was to Australia. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, firstly, tourism from China is our most valuable market, 450,000 visitors, $3 billion a year, expected to double over the next decade. So it's our most valuable market, growing very, very quickly, 8-10% per annum for the last 5 years. But in terms of ensuring we have airline access, we're able to transport tourists, ensuring quality experience, good level of accommodation, good range of experiences, we still have some work to do. And that's the focus of this summit here in Cairns. It's also to show that Queensland and Cairns is open for business.
Yeah.
That there has been a perception that this area of the world got washed away. That's very far from the truth. It is open for business. From a small business point of view, small business are dominant in tourism, and one of my messages was they need to connect to the web. They need to have a very good web package and sell their services, obviously, to all points on the globe. It's a very, very major area of sale and distribution.
Just on the small business side of things, I mean, you quite rightly said that the tourism industry is redolent with small businesses. It's made up of small businesses. And from my experience, and I live on the Sunshine Coast, some are really hurting very badly at the moment.
Yes.
And it's fine, and I'm not suggesting this is the case in your case, but it's fine for a lot of people in the political world to say make all these grand statements, but when the overdraft needs to be paid and the lease on the vehicles or the laundryman's got to be paid and you've got no guests, how are they supposed to survive, and how can the federal government help them?
Well, let's take tourism. Tourism Australia is our major, is our marketing arm overseas. Now, clearly, they've been working. They've been working well with China. The numbers are going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where government can provide some assistance through those marketing efforts, together with the private sector. Government can also do things in terms of red tape. We've provided some short-term assistance, $12 million specifically for North Queensland for tourism purposes, to highlight the fact that the recovery from the weather has occurred. We've got issues to deal with in terms of airline regulation, so government is important, but I have to stress, government can only do so much. Ultimately, tourism is a people industry.
Yep.
It's the quality of the venue and the quality of the people, their education, training, those sorts of things that ultimately make the experience for Chinese visitors in small business or large business.
The aviation, you touched on aviation just a little while ago, and that's in real turmoil at the moment because of the cost of fuel and so on. Where does the federal government see that going, and what's going to happen in that space, do you think?
I can't predict the fuel costs for
it's out of your hands, it's out of everybody's.
That is out of our hands, but what I can say is that by and large airfares over the last 20 years have generally declined. They've generally declined. It's one of the contributing factors, cut-price airlines particularly, to the growth of tourism, both Australians leaving and visitors coming.
And especially in real terms, if you compare, if you go back, compare them with 20 years ago.
People should look at what you were paying 20 years ago compared to today. And also, obviously, people leaving Australia as tourists and tourists coming into Australia. So, I mean, that's been a long-term positive for Australia. We are very confident that the numbers from China, and particularly Asia and China, will continue to grow very, very significantly.
Just going to put a break there for a second because you may not want to answer this question, okay? But I'll ask the question, then I'll cut it out if you don't want me to. the Reserve Bank keeps on talking about increasing interest rates, yet we've got a rocketing Australian dollar, which makes our resources, more expensive. Thousands, millions of Australians going overseas, but the inbound tourism is absolutely shot, and our products are expensive overseas. Is that the right step? To increase interest rates, or would it be better to lower them and live with a bit of inflation?
The Reserve Bank independently determines interest rates. The fact that we've got a strong Australian dollar is because we've got a strong economy. Look at Europe and look at North America. Our economy compared to that. The other point I'd make is that it's not correct to say that inbound tourism is in decline. Yes, some markets it's been flat from Europe and North America, or some areas it's been in decline for very obvious reasons. They've got high unemployment. They're very, very worried about their future economically. But from Asia, inbound tourism from Asia is increasing. Japan has got a particular set of issues, but generally China, Middle East, India, very strong inbound growth.
And these are clearly there for the markets that organisations like Tourism Australia, and as they cascade through the state tourism organisations right down to local tourism organisations, are going to be concentrating on in the future, with the emphasis in this summit on China.
Well, very obviously, China's our largest, by value, largest visitor tourism market. And you do increase focus and increase resources on countries like China and others. But obviously China, it's got a rapidly growing economy, it's got rapid middle classing, it's now the most important tourist market for Australia, so it justifies the particular attention we're paying to it at this point in time.
Well, Minister, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I'll let you get back to your Chinese dumplings. But look, when you get back to Tasmania, I hope you'll tell all your friends in Tasmania that yes, business, everything is alive and well in tropical North Queensland.
I do every chance I get. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.